I started this channel because I like talking about the ins and outs of storytelling and whatnot, and sometimes it leads to some hot takes and the planting of flags. But this time though, I want to talk about something even more important than all that stuff. Diet Coke. Specifically, 3 of their commercials from the late 80s, maybe early 90s, because talk about storytelling. I think they illustrate what we've lost as a society, and as strange as it may sound, this is something I've wanted to dig into for a while now. To start, let's rewind to 1986.
Ours, as you know, is not a perfect world.
Yes, that is indeed Pierce Brosnan, and this was before he was James Bond, but he'd been circling the part for a little bit by this point.
May I? That's why it's so refreshing when something really perfect comes along. Like Diet Coke. Tastes great straight, or on the rocks. Yet it's just 1 calorie. That's why Diet Coke is the perfect soft drink. For an imperfect world.
Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
You can watch James Bond himself drink one of the most pedestrian drinks while fighting off ninjas in a Moroccan cafe for free and on demand, which is something truly special in our day and age. Also, I love how he sits next to this gorgeous woman and teases that, oh, when a perfect thing comes around, and then it's clear that he's referring to Diet Coke, dashing her confidence. Pierce just needs to look down the barrel and tell you man to man that Diet Coke tastes great, you can drink it with ice or no ice, and it's got just 1 calorie if you care. And at the end, he gives us a wink because he knows whatever commercial comes next is going to be nowhere near as good. If you thought that one was fun, watch this one.
Hello. Gotham Corner Store? Yes, we seem to be down to our last Diet Coke.
Does he do this for all their staples, like bread, eggs, and salsa? There's no way to know, but I'd like to think the answer is yes.
A gentleman is on his way to pick some up. Just look for a black car. No, this black car will be rather difficult to miss. And by the way, the gentleman is usually in quite a rush.
Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
Personally, I'd love to see a Tim Burton cut of the film where he reinserts this commercial back into the movie where it belongs. Do you think Bruce Wayne dons the suit every time he runs to the drugstore because he doesn't want people to know that this billionaire does his own shopping? For that matter, why isn't Alfred running to the store to pick up this perfect soft drink? He's the butler, that's his job. Instead, he's moseying about stately Wayne Manor, guzzling down the very last Diet Coke they have. And yes, I mean guzzling, because look how much he downs between these 2 shots. Half that glass is gone. No wonder they ran out. I bet Bruce doesn't even drink Diet Coke. It's all for Alfred. And Bruce does this to keep Alfred hopped up on the DC. Wait, to keep him from realizing that he hasn't received a social security check in 12 years. That's how he funds his Batcave. Alright, let's move on to what I think is the craziest one.
While you're up, would you get me a soft drink?
This little number was on the Last Crusade tape. Be mindful of the production value in this commercial.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
You must choose. Choose wisely.
Discover real cola taste with just 1 calorie. Diet Coke.
chosen wisely.
At Indiana, discover the 1-calorie real cola taste worth leaving Pepsi for. Diet Coke.
Honestly, this commercial has more practical effects in it than most movies do these days. Look at how this set breaks apart and how the kitchen falls apart. How many times do you think they had to put it all back together? Also, I have to point out that this pullout that the camera does here feels very Spielberg to me. It's very impressive. Hey, take a look at the lighting here. That is a perfect silhouette if I've ever seen one. Again, all in camera. Indy is deathly afraid of snakes, but he'll courageously use one to swing the wife across a snake pit. At least he knows how to treat a lady. I have to ask here, at the end of the commercial, when it says Diet Coke is the soft drink worth leaving Pepsi for, and the wife has that exhausted yet definitely fluttery look on her face, is that implying that she should leave her husband, like Indiana Jones is Diet Coke and her husband is Pepsi? Because going from happily married to fantasizing about other relationships is quite a heavy arc to make in just like a minute 50. Wrapped up in this Diet Coke ad is a story about marital discontent. Yeah, we've lost something along the way. James Bond could enjoy this perfect can of Diet Coke that tastes great straight or on the rocks by himself, but he doesn't. He chooses to split that single calorie in half and share it with a beautiful woman who definitely recognizes him from Mrs. Doubtfire. While not as perfect as Diet Coke, she is worthy of sharing that perfection with. And when he winks at us at the end, he's telling us to open ourselves up and stop being afraid of being vulnerable and bring others in to share the things we cherish the most. Batman is a multi-billionaire who steals his butler's social security checks, but even he knows that wealth is fleeting, and it can't buy you happiness. You don't need to go jumping off rooftops, beating up druggies and loiterers to feel fulfilled. Sometimes all it takes is a case of Diet Coke with your best friend, and that's worth running out to the store in the middle of the night, even though you just got off work. This lady is stuck in a loveless marriage with a man whose aloofness is only eclipsed by his uncanny resemblance to Judge Reinhold. She does everything for him, with nary a look in her direction in return. Yet she finds comfort and passion from the very thing he devotes his attention to instead of her. That Indy. She takes ownership of it and gleans power from it, and thereby finds a way to define herself on her own terms rather than seeking affirmation from an empty well. She chooses to go on, not because she has permission to, but because she knows that she, like you, deserves to feel fulfilled. You might have guessed that this was something of a palate cleanser from the previous video. Not gonna lie, that one was a bit of a slog and it led to more anxiety than anything. I think I'm gonna treat myself to a Diet Coke right now, and I invite you to do the same. What's your favorite soft drink anyway? Let's get into the weeds here. Give me some unpopular opinions. For now, stay tough and stop by again sometime.